Quizlet.com is a web tool that uses different learning modalities to help improve vocabulary for students. And as we've learned in our cohort classes, that academic vocabulary is very important. Not just in the context of in the classroom, but it helps build vocabulary across all types of academic disciplines. So some of the features that I just wanted to quickly go over include that you can study anything because you can either search for a certain topic or you can create a list of your own that goes along with that specific topic. So literally anything. Any type of sets of cards can be used or words to learn. There's different ways that students can learn vocabulary, and that includes flashcards, a learning mode, which is really just tracking your progress and reviewing things that were done wrong. Scatter mode, where you match words to their definitions, and it's kind of a speed, so there's the reading and typing aspect there, so that's kind of nice. The speller, where you type what you hear, which works in 18 different languages right here, so that's very, very innovative. A test in which you prepare for a real test by taking an automatically graded quiz, which then gets sent to the instructor, and a space race, which is kind of a game. There's also options to study with friends, in the classroom, friendly competition. You can join a class similar to Schoology, although it's not required. So those are just some of the features, as well as you can read down here, it's free and very easy to get started. So I'm actually going to search up here for the lists that I use for my science class. I just type in Pirate Pete is what I tell the kids to search, so it's really easy for them to find. And we just finished our second half of our first unit, so I'm going to click on that. Actually, going back real quick, you can see there's some other teachers that have used Quizlet as well. It looks like the regular PHS biology may have used this. Lisa Burton, English teacher at Palatine, a special ed English teacher at Palatine, is using it as well. And it looks like there's some other sets here from teachers that have used it in the past. So I'm going to go to that freshman science 1.5 to 1.8 that I'm currently teaching. So this was the second half of our vocabulary for the unit. And as you can see, I have the option to select whether I want the term first or the definition, and then I can choose both sides or just both sides on one face of the card. So typically flashcards have the word on one side and the definition on the other side. This would be pretty good for some beginning levels. Or beginning steps to learning new vocabulary words. So simply having both on one side and just becoming familiar with it. So you can see the different definitions and words on top. And then you can switch it up a little bit by doing just one side. So here we have unit of temperature. So if you click, it shows what the term is. If you want to show the actual vocabulary term first, you can do that. So I'll go to the next one. So temperature, and that should be a measure of how hot or cold something is. So, and if you click it, you determine whether you're correct or not. And so that's one way to study. The learn mode I'm not really going to go over because that just shows mistakes that have been made. The games here, which are really engaging for students, include scatter and space race. So real quick, I'm just going to show a scatter. So it tells you the instructions right here. Drag corresponding items onto each other to make them disappear. So it's very much like just matching. And they are scattered. And so here, what I'll do is look for a couple vocab words that go match the definition. So notice it's timed up here to give track personal record, so that's kind of nice. So degrees Celsius, I'll go to unit of temperature, and you notice how they disappear. Meter is the metric unit of length. So here we go, match those. Now let's say I got it wrong. I say a lens is a tool that makes things, or well, let's say an amount of matter and an object for lens. So if it's incorrect, it just kind of ricochets right off of there. A microscope. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of how that is and how that could be engaging. And there's also space race, where you killed the scrolling words by typing their corresponding term and pressing enter. So that's kind of like a typing or writing, I guess you could say, as well as reading as a vocabulary term goes across. So we'll start playing here. So unit of length, I would want to say the meter, and it gets rid of it. Unit of volume would be liter, so I would type that in. Unit of mass, we'll say gram, and let's say for this next one, the measure of how hot or cold something is, I put microscope. If it's incorrect, it just lets you know. It won't accept it, and it keeps track of which ones you got right or wrong at the end, and you can select what things you want to count. Now, notice that the measure of how hot or cold something is here, I didn't get to it, and it picked up on that right away. So what it does is repeats the answer there for you. So the actual answer should have been temperature, and then it asked me to type it in again. So that's one way for me to keep track. A piece of curved glass that causes light rays to come together, spread apart, I'll say lens, so you get an idea of how that really works. Let me go back to the set page. So again, there's also a listening component to this, where if you're not sure how to pronounce the word, the actual computer will read it out for you. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear this, but I'm clicking on the button and she's actually saying it out loud. So gram, liter, and then the definition as well. Amount of matter in an object. So that is Quizlet. Let me just do the test real quick. So here is really easy to either make online quizzes that students can log in and take, or you can actually print something like this out and use it, have a hard copy of it. So this is one way that I've used it in my classroom, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And this is Quizlet.